Hello, and welcome to the Innovia Conversation. I'm Steve Waltz.
And I'm Holly Kutil, sitting in Jeff Prikolsky's seat again.
Well, nice, Holly. Well, welcome.
Thanks. I'm so glad to be here. I know Jeff doesn't like to miss podcasts, but I'm really glad when he goes and I get to come in.
Well, nice. Well, we're glad to have you, and it's a good time for you to be on here. It's getting close to Christmas time, and we have one of our clients on here. We have our friends from Sabre on here. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Hi there.
Hi, Meaghan and Clark.
Thanks for having us.
So we got Clark and Meaghan from Sabre, and we were actually talking a little bit before that they came on board to Innovia just a little bit over a year ago. So we're excited to have you guys. Welcome. Woohoo! 1 year anniversary. Yay!
Oh.
And so
And they're still smiling.
they're still smiling.
That's a good thing.
Nice. And you guys are located in the great state of Missouri, correct?
Yes.
Nice.
Right outside of St. Louis.
Nice. So I mean, if they were Cub fans, they'd be the perfect clients. But I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but Steve, you do know that they are Kansas City, and that's who beat us for that Super Bowl spot last year.
Yeah, we know they're Chiefs, but I can remember. You guys Cardinal fans?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Holly said Kansas City, so I was hoping maybe, So, but anyway, well, guys, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you guys do?
Yeah, so my name's Clark. I'm the accounting supervisor and ERP solution manager here at Sabre. The company, what we do is we manufacture pepper spray. So that's kind of what we do out of St. Louis.
And I'm Meaghan. I'm the CFO. My siblings and I run the company. My dad started it in 1975. And so we're second generation. And yeah, we've been manufacturing for a while, and we distribute all over the world.
Nice. So we know you do pepper spray. You do other products too, don't you?
We just manufacture the pepper spray, but we also distribute a lot of electronics like stun guns and personal alarms and like door alarms and other things of that nature.
That's what I thought, because I know Holly. Is that where you got your stun gun, Holly? When she comes
No,
to
I'm thinking I might need one. If I get a stun gun, I could attach it to Jeff's seat somehow, and then I could zap him out, so I can jump in whatever I want.
Keep everybody in line. Nice.
Might have to work something out there.
Awesome. So when you guys came to Innovia, you're running BC SaaS, correct?
Yes.
And we're having some issues. So maybe we kind of curious. I think it would be good because, a lot of folks like yourself, they're when you're in a situation, you think that might be where you're stuck at, right? You're with this partner, or you're with this and so forth, and you don't feel things are going well. And there's a lot of partners in the channel. And, sometimes when it's time to make the change, you guys, when you came to us, sounded like you had a list of things. So I'd be kind of curious if you could share with the folks that are listening, kind of where you're at and what brought you to us.
Well, our original implementer had a lot of turnover, and it just got to the point where I just didn't feel like they had enough experience with BC at all. I mean, to the point where when we would talk about it, they wouldn't say BC. They'd slip up all the time and say GP. So that should have been a pretty big red flag in the beginning. But yeah, they had no solutions. Their owner came in and told us that the system was amazing. And then the implementers came in and said, no, it's not. You bought this. These systems don't do anything that our boss told you it does. They're not great at all. So it was constantly Microsoft's fault. It was never their fault.
So it was a GP partner that just started.
Yeah, I feel, and all along everybody's like, do you feel like we're the guinea pig? Do you feel like we're their first company ever to have implemented this? And like they denied it. Like we saw them at the Microsoft Summit in Houston in October, and we like kind of like had like a 2-minute little conversation. Like, have you guys really ever done this? We're like, oh yeah. They swore up and down. It was just like I turned around and walked away. I was just like, I don't believe it. I can't.
Yeah, that was unfortunate to hear. Well,
yeah.
And because I do think with Great Plains, right? There's over 60,000 installs in the U.S. and in the Microsoft roadmap, it depends on who you talk to, but I think some of them are starting to grab onto it, and it's really not the same as you found out, and so, but I think that when you came over, that was some of the issues. So tell us some of the stuff that maybe when you came on board with us that we worked with you on.
Yeah, so I can jump in here. A lot of the problems were with the basic setups. So you can definitely tell that our system was set up by people that didn't really understand it. They didn't have the professional experience that we were looking for. So as we started reviewing some of the pain points and working with these Innovia consultants, they'd come in and they have years of experience and they'd say, well, that's set up a way, but it's not the optimal way that you guys need and the way you're using it. So just having someone with that knowledge and expertise look at how it was set up and how we were using it, they were able to guide us and then teach us and explain to us what our options were. So that was really the big difference. Is you could see Innovia is coming in and they're saying, this is how it's set up and this is why it's set up this way. And here's the other options that you can go with. So that really helped us design our roadmap for where we wanted to go, instead of a consultant telling us where we were going.
Nice. Was Holly part of that at all?
She was, yeah.
Yeah, the support team will tell you Holly loves lists, and get a customer who has a good list, and I get all excited and jump in on that list. And like we were talking earlier, I counted down my list that I still have from last November, and there were 18 takeaway items to work on out of the gate with you guys. I know I was excited. I'm always excited to bring someone on, especially when Steve calls me and says, we have a client who really needs your help. That just excites me to get in and start helping them and see them grow and their system get healthy. And so I was excited. I'm always curious, how did you guys feel when you came on that call? Were you nervous? Were you excited? What were you anticipating when we first met?
I think it was a panic situation, much like the survivors of the Titanic had felt, where we were just begging for some life rafts, and you guys came by and said, okay, we understand your problems and we can come up with solutions and we'll just tackle it a piece at a time. And the big part on what made it more successful is you worked with us to do the training and education as well, so we could design our roadmap and figure out what are our priority items that need to be done today and what can be pushed off till Q2, Q3, Q4, and really gave us guidance on how we wanted to design our system to set us up for greater success down the road.
I remember that conversation, and every time we gave you an item, like you were just like, okay, yep. You were just like, yes, we can do that. We will do that. And then you had so many different people at your company's names that you're like, I'm going to put this person on this. I'm going to put this person on this. I'm going to put this person on this. With the last place, we had 2 people, and ugh. So I was like, wow, look at all these people they have that know the system that are going to help us.
Yeah,
it was exciting.
What we did was divvy it up. So as you talked and we shared about where you were at and how each area of the team felt about that area of the product, we selected the correct resource on our side to do what we call a discovery call. So initially we set up a discovery call so you guys could meet and talk and look at those base setups, like you said, Clark, give you some information around how they're set up, why they're set up, why we think certain things should be set a certain way, and then let you guys make that decision for your business processes. And then talk about what you know and don't know. And then we set up the training so it fits what you guys need and what you're looking for. And we did that over and over with all the different areas. Tracy, Alicia, Marguerite in the purchasing area, Desiree out for the warehouse down the line, and really tackled each area and got everybody up to speed where they needed to be. So you guys were running healthy on your ERP.
Nice. The Titanic reference, I'm still, it's like, oh, sort of chilled on my back. And, because as a partner, sometimes that can be it can be a hard conversation, because we're learning where you're at, and we're learning about each other, what we're capable, to find out really to discuss about your setups. We don't know how you were set up, right? And so it really involves, to ask the right questions. And we've been really working on that over the last few years on, when folks that are either had a bad implementation or they want to do an upgrade, or they had to do a lot of development and they were having issues. How do we best approach that? And I think Holly, when she came to the support side of things, really kind of put some structure around that, because it is difficult, because I'm sure as you were progressing and going through that, you're also seeing some of the capabilities of the system that you might not have been aware of. So I was kind of curious, as you were going through that with Holly and her team at the time, where you're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Did it start raising eyebrows, like I want a little bit more, or?
Oh, absolutely. I have a 3-year roadmap on solutions I want to implement and new things I want to try out and test out. And watching the webinars that you guys provide and going to the user group conferences, just there's a wealth of knowledge and information out there that we don't see when we're sitting in a bubble. So by building that relationship with Innovia, you guys are demoing ISV solutions for us, and then we can watch it, say, hey, this is something we can use here. Really gives us a roadmap for better success, not only today, but down the road on where we want to develop into.
Nice. And I know we saw you guys at Summit. What was your take on it? I know it was a little bit lighter than the ones gone by, but did you felt it was worth your time and investment?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was overwhelming. There was a lot. I mean, it's just a lot that hit at you at once. But I mean, I was excited the whole time.
Yeah, it was really good because it let you network with different ISV solutions. They showed the latest and greatest. And if you had any questions, there were lots of experts there that were just eager to help you and say, what is your business? What do you do? Where are your struggles? And they'll point you in the right direction. And then I took a lot of stuff and brought it back to Innovia and said, this is what I found. This is what I found. I'm so excited. What can we do? And then you guys just help us walk through it and say, this is great. This is not so great. And really trusting that relationship with the experts helps us design tomorrow.
Nice. And I know, so Greg is your account manager.
Yep.
So, when I'm talking with folks that are looking to coming over, and I know we had the conversation, right, that it's an investment in our relationship to have that non-billable resource. I mean, I guess maybe you can tell us, how do you talk with Greg much, or what are the conversations like?
Yeah, send Greg memes all the time, just keeping it fresh, making him laugh.
Send memes.
And I build that relationship so that when I get a new idea, I'll bounce it off him.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's look into it. Or here, let's set up a quick meeting with someone who can describe in more details. And it really makes it so we focus on building relationships rather than just looking at a budget. So that with Innovia Consulting is insanely valuable. Just we want to reach out. We want to go say, what can we do tomorrow? And we're not worried about getting, nickel and dime to death for it. So having Greg is fantastic for our relationship because we always want to try to do better, and we're not always thinking about, are we going to get billed for this? Where's this go in? Really facilitates communication.
Well, that's nice to hear, because a lot of the folks, clients like yourself, when we talk with them when they're new to Innovia, it's like, look, Holly's kind of been in the channel for a while. Greg has. We deal with the ISVs on a daily basis, and we deal with multiple ones, like like credit card process. We got a couple, WMS warehouse, and we have several, and we know which ones actually are good marketers and deliver, or both, right? And because this is what we do all the time. Because when you're on a call with them, if you reach out to them directly, they're quite good at marketing, aren't they?
Well, sales pitch, yeah.
And it is, but I think having that expertise on there. So I'm just curious, did any of you guys ever call Holly?
So good story. The very first customer who figured out how to reach us on Teams was Clark.
Yeah.
So I'm working one
Nice,
day and
nice.
all of a sudden, boom, up pops Clark with questions and memes and talking. And I'm like, how in the world did he get there? Didn't even know it was possible, but he was the very first one who figured that out and started conversations back and forth with me through Teams while I'm sitting at my desk. So kudos to Clark. I've had several follow his lead now, and some that I've told that they can do that, but he was the very first one.
Nice.
Good for you, Clark. I didn't know that.
I'm trying to think, Clark, if you pinged me at all. I think you might have. I'm not sure.
A few times. So after webinars, I'll reach out to people that present them and send them memes and give them some feedback on it on a personal level.
Nice.
And then I'll have friends on Facebook with your consultants and staff that we just keep that relationship going. So it's the professional side, but it's also the personal side. So that when we have a problem, hey, here's Clark. He's a funny guy. Let's go see what we can do. So yeah, it's really setting us both up for success. And it works.
Yeah, and being, I think, virtual and across the country, having that relationship, getting to know each other, seeing where Clark's been on vacation, the fun things that he's been out there doing, it kind of creates relationship beyond that virtual wall that we have, and really makes it easy to reach out and talk to each other. I know where they're at. If I see something, I'm not their account manager and I'm not on support either anymore. But if I see something that I know Clark's going to like or Meaghan's going to like, I'll shoot them an email or give them a quick call and say, hey, look, I found this. I think you guys would really like this. So it continues that relationship down the road. So LinkedIn and Facebook and the different ones are great ways to stay connected.
Very cool. Are you guys coming to the Innovia Customer Conference?
Is that the one at Notre Dame?
One in Notre Dame.
May
Yeah.
4th and 5th.
You got dates. Nice. So, well, I won't have to give Greg a hard time. So I always give the account managers a hard time. Are you talking to our clients about, give them a heads up, because man, you're going to close your eyes. It's going to be 2022, right?
Right.
Yes, it is.
Clark won't forget because it's May the 4th.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Exactly.
That's right. May the 4th be with you, right? So,
Mhm.
well, very cool. And I think it's one of the things that you talked about webinars and the sessions and training as we talked early on, like, look, we want to point you in the direction. We want to make you as self-sufficient as you possibly can, right? There's a lot of free training out there, and Holly's really big on that. I know when she would actually do onboarding calls, she would actually put links on for the free stuff. I don't know how many partners do that, but it's we found that our happiest clients that are the ones that you can really help point and get them searching and bounce ideas off. So when it's time for the heavy lifting, they don't mind paying the bill as much, right? On that one. So, but yeah, so I guess you said, Clark, you had 3 years of projects lined up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Stuff. So
Oh
Meaghan,
yeah.
it's all budgeted, right, Meaghan?
Well, hold on a second. We are asking the hard questions here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, no, but what you just, so having that list and prioritizing, I'm kind of curious to where, and it might be helpful for some of our clients out there, because sometimes you just want to do too much up front.
Yeah.
Right. And how much can you tackle, and how do you stage that out? So I'm kind of curious to hear, because you came in with a laundry list, it sounds like.
And we still have a laundry list. Yeah, it's figuring out what affects what the most. So our big priority this past year has been inventory and getting controls over that, because that populates the order fulfillment, that populates shipping, that populates chargebacks. And it's a chain reaction that really starts with inventory. So getting our inventory under control let us start doing the production management, the MRP and MPS, really get planning and forecasting done. So it's not only we're on top of our costs, now we can forecast and find more efficient ways to do things. From there, we're going to be enabling the barcode scanners and just start with that initiative early next year, once we get our blackout inventory and have it more structured and processed. So it's going from there. And then once you have better order management, then you can start going into sales forecasting, planning, budgeting, all the financial aspects that I get to play with. Then establishing better EDI. So everything I want done immediately, but clearly we can't do that with budget or time constraints. So it's figuring out what's the most important thing first, and what's the linchpin in a successful organization when we grow double in size every year. So how do we stay on top of it, and what do we need most?
Nice. So I don't know if you were aware of this now, but Holly was past chair of the NAVOG Advisory Board.
Mhm.
And so she's probably thinking what I'm thinking, like, Holly, that's like a session, what he just talked about, don't you think?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, for one of the user groups, I think next time they have a call for sessions, to kind of just take what you just kind of went over and how to prioritize, how to do these things. I think that'd be something that end users could really benefit from. I don't know, Holly, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that'd be a great session. And not to brag, but we now have 2 past presidents from the advisory board and the NAVIC community, and 3 all-stars. I don't know. Yeah.
And one that's been nominated 3 times. It's still never. Not that I'm bitter about it.
You're our all-star. That's all that matters.
One of these days, right? Yeah. So the runaway bride, we'll call it. But
like Clark has all these projects he wants to do and things going on, and that's part of what account management is there for. That free non-billable resource is so you can have those meetings and sit down together and talk about them and help build out ROIs and pain points and decide which one makes sense. Sometimes it's the least painful one that makes sense to go first based on return on investment, and it may free up a couple people who then can work harder on the other one you want to do and make that one happen faster than it would if you left the other one open. So that's part of the process, and part of the things as an account manager we help them with is walking through those things and helping line them up and helping find those numbers for them that they're looking for to see what's going to work best for us.
Nice. So what's the next project you guys got going?
Making our production more robust. So our production and planning, since we started off with basically nothing, we said, okay, we're going to put in the basic functionality. And then it's making that more efficient, saying, okay, now we can get better labor rates for workstations and just better metrics to do things more efficiently. So really it's starting small with what we have today and coming out with a roadmap for how we want it to evolve into where it should be. So we can't take a finished product as it is and say, this is how we're going to do everything today. There's the cultural growth as well. So we're trying to mimic what we do today and then start down the path towards where we want to be with each solution, and then tying it all together with how it works. So there is a big master plan that's in my head that I can talk about with every component, but really it's what works for the organization today and where do we want to get to. So yes, it's throwing out production. I can do that right now, but it wouldn't make it so everything in the company changes right now to be where it should. It's the growth to get everybody on board, trained, and get comfortable, and then just evolve with the process.
Very nice. Do you guys have questions for Holly, or I'll turn it over to you guys? How about that? Should I do? Did I open a Pandora's box, Holly? But Holly can answer any questions you have right now.
Is this billable? Because I mean, it's just throw out all we got.
I told him always ask. Never be afraid to ask. I won't be offended.
I don't think Clark's
non-billable call. Are you billing us for the call? That should be the question.
Nice. I know. It's like, here we go.
The other direction. I know, Clark, one of the things that early on we did that I remember you just being really excited about was when I told you you could create your own sandboxes. And I had Daniel work with you on creating sandboxes. And you were just like thrilled. It was like Christmas Day.
I've
like,
broken
really?
so many sandboxes since then, and I play with everything. I'm just like, oh, here, I wonder if this will work, and I'll try it, and just boom. Oh, that didn't work. Oops. Refresh, restart. I mean, using the sandbox really allows the user to become the expert because you can practice things. You go look at a solution online and say, I wonder how this works, or I wonder how this will affect this. You do it in the sandbox, and you can say, oh, yes, we had our cost of goods calculating wrong from standard cost. Let's reevaluate it before we throw it in production. So we really get to test out any theories that we have, and it lets us become experts, which that's what Innovia is in the business of, is making experts.
You didn't have a sandbox before coming to us?
They
No,
had
we
one,
did.
but
Yeah,
they didn't know that they can make their own.
Oh, okay.
So we taught Clark how to make his own and not have to call us to make him one to play in. So
Mhm.
he was thrilled. So the question then is, Meaghan, what was the one thing that you remember like that someone taught you or showed you in the past year that you were like, wow, this is cool?
It was probably like there's a couple. There was the collections and credit card software that we implemented, and then just finally getting our Nacha files all set up properly. Just little things like that to just make things so much easier, just automated and done and correct. Yeah, those were the one things where it made me be like, yes, we're getting somewhere.
I know collections was at the top of your list when we very first met, and we introduced you guys to iSolutions and Ryan's team, and
Yes.
that was a match made in heaven, and things are going great with them?
Yeah, they are. They're going really well.
Awesome.
Big fan of Ryan. I can twist his arm and get him to do new things. So he develops the software around us, which is nice.
So you're his sandbox.
We're his sandbox.
Ryan is the perfect fit to Innovia. He is like a match made in heaven. He just has that same customer mindset, wants to take care of them, will pretty much do anything for them, and wears his heart on his sleeve. And so we have no problem recommending him or partnering with him, and love working with Ryan too. So I'm glad that worked out for you guys.
Yeah, he's great.
Anybody else you want to give a shout out to on our team or your team?
Tracy's always there to help me. It seems like anytime I have a
Tracy.
I was like, Tracy. I'm always like, will I get someone new? No, Tracy.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on your team that help me out on a daily basis. So it's really great. Just building relationships with everybody is fantastic, where I'll shoot Teams messages. Hey, what's your availability this week? And they'll say, hey, I can meet you Thursday afternoon. I say, sure, no problem. So Teams is just a quick way to have
Get around the
fast
ticketing
communication.
process, it sounds like, Holly.
Not at all.
I mean,
now they're going to get so bombarded, Clark. They're all going to go, hey, we just can ping them.
Yeah. They'll be cringing, right?
You give away your secret.
so you have to start with memes and jokes
Okay.
so they get documented being a professional ticket.
Right. At least at this point, is not real well known. There's a handful, I would say, of customers who know they can reach us on Teams through chat. And again, because of that, the line is long and emails are deep in everybody's inbox now, right? The phone never rings, but the email box never stops growing. So you really want to get our attention quick, you tag us on Teams, and everyone's right there. Like, wow, I'm like reading what Clark sent, and I said, who is that? That's not someone on our team. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Clark. That's pretty cool. But so it gets seen right away, and so you can immediately, you don't have to go and read through emails, you don't have to go through the tickets. You could go right to Teams and you see that, oh, Clark's got a message. You can look at it and go, oh yeah, I can do that on this day, and get things set up. So it's definitely a good way.
And then we set up the formal ticket afterwards. So we do the, hey, this is what we're experiencing. I'm going to submit a ticket, but I wanted to bounce to my dudes. first to give you some exposure to it. Then I submit the ticket. And that works.
I won't tell anybody. Don't worry.
The thing is always, most people now have a scheduling app at the end of their signature. Another great way, instead of emailing back and forth. If you need to talk to someone on the team and they have that scheduling app, just click on the book now and, pick a time slot and plug yourself in there. I would just ask, anyone that's listening, if you do that, put some kind of note in there so we know what we're coming into. Some people will like click it and just book a meeting with George and have no idea what George wants to talk about. Sometimes I'm not even sure who the person is, but we get on the call and figure it out. But put a little note in there that says it's me and this is what I wanted to talk about in our call.
Oh, I love that we can see your availability as well.
Yeah, that is convenient.
That little app is fantastic. I have a meeting with Crystal today about that, actually, which I established this morning. And just seeing, hey, you're open at this time slot. I need to talk to you about something. Boom. And I don't have to submit a ticket and wait a long extended time to say, can they answer today? Can they answer tomorrow? So yeah, what Holly said, it really makes it convenient so that we know when we'll have answers.
Nice. And so have you done Nav out of Teams yet? I mean, Business Central?
Not yet. We're not quite robust. For that, looking at the power automation,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much looking into establishing a better understanding of that. So Breon out of Innovia, he's starting to work with that. You have some other people on your team. So that's something that I'm excited to. That's on my roadmap for discovery because I've seen the functionality of it that I want to play with. But we have other projects going on. So that's kind of on the back burner of priorities.
So to take Holly's signature on her email and put a book now. Because she's non-billable now. Not that she ever billed for a time before, right, Holly? I'm just kidding. Holly's like Jeff. It's hard to say no. But yes, I've been on calls with Holly, and she'll just out of Teams. She's just start showing off how she can do that all on Teams. I'm like, I might have to figure that out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Microsoft's taken off with their new releases with Teams. They're making that the big focus. Just the things they're releasing on a monthly basis, it's hard to keep up with. So that's why I like having Innovia there, because you guys do keep up with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really simple, Clark. Just go to the apps, Business Central, it will pop up and it'll walk you through the steps to put in your information for your environment. And then you'll have it on the side, Teams, Calendar, Business Central.
Alrighty.
If you need help, ping me.
It sounds like a webinar coming up for Holly. She doesn't know it yet. And Angie listens. You hear that, Holly? She volunteered for that. So
There you go.
I watched that video. I mean, that webinar. But I know, guys, we're coming up on time here. Is there anything else you'd like to say or give shout outs to?
No, I'm just very thankful that we have a relationship that we feel like we're in good hands. So if we are in a place where we're stuck or need some advice, we can reach out to Innovia, and you guys point us in the right direction with however much we're willing to pay for or how much we're willing to learn on our own. And just having that relationship where you guys want to teach us so that you don't have to do everything for us, that I value tremendously.
Thank you very much, Clark. We appreciate our relationship and because I've been in the ERP world for 6 years. It can get complex sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. It can get a little to where wasn't sure if we heard you correctly. We thought we heard you say this, like those type of conversations. So, but I tell you what, I got some notes on how to network from Clark from this conversation. Better on it. So,
absolutely.
But anybody else, Meaghan, like to add anything or?
Yeah, if anybody's interested in any personal pepper spray defense products, you can check out our website at sabrered.com. It's SABRERED.com.
And nice. And you're both on LinkedIn too, correct?
Yes.
Nice. So if they want to reach out to you on LinkedIn, how would they find you?
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
I got a feeling Clark knows his LinkedIn. Just search for Clark Baldwin, and Meaghan, how do you pronounce your last name? I don't know. Is it
Mulgard. Mullgardt.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I pronounced it correctly, and
Yep.
they're on there, and I tell you what, guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been a quick year, and I'm glad to see. We were glad to see you at Summit, and hopefully we'll see you at the in Notre Dame. It's going to be at the football stadium. Actually, if you go on if you look on TV, the football stadium, there's an area that you can actually see over the field. That's where the meeting is going to be for the Innovia Customer Conference. So should be about 25 plus ISVs, 200 to 300 folks like yourself being there, and we're even going to have Holly come.
I may come as Princess Leia this time.
That's right. And that's right. And we usually get better ratings when Holly's on. So Jeff, sorry, buddy. Might have to battle Holly from here on out on that one. So
that's all those relatives that go and watch whatever I say.
He has a bigger family
They
than
don't know.
everybody.
They don't know anything about Business Central or the ERP world, but they'll listen because I was on. So thanks to my fan club.
Nice. And you can follow us on Innovia.com. You can listen to recordings there. We're on all the different podcast platforms, on our YouTube channel, and obviously on LinkedIn we're on there, and Twitter. So, guys, thank you very much. And this podcast is over.
Wrap.